Hey Faye, hey Tracy. How's everyone doing? Little shadow here. It's okay. Hey DJ Breeze, how are you? How are you? Good morning. Delisha. Hey Delisha, how are you? Good afternoon, good morning, happy Saturday. Anyone in Charleston? Hey Bonnie. We have the rain going on. Thank you, hon. We have the rain going on. We have the cold going on. And I have a busy day. I have a busy day. I have to be out of here. So I'm going to have to be out of here in about 20 or 30 minutes. I actually have a photo shoot today. Yay. So I'm excited about that. So I need to head out. Yeah, I bet. Oh my God. I'm sure. Oh, wow. I'm sure it's not as cold as Houston or where are you, Faye? New York? But it's cold. Wow. It's like 40. So we're double that. 19. Wow. Oh my God. That's crazy, right? Okay. It was just like 80 degrees the other day. All right, guys. So I don't want to prolong the time, guys and gals. So I want to go ahead and get right into it. Please, you all go ahead and start sharing with your followers. If you know someone that's in a relationship, hey, someone that's married, someone that desires to be in a relationship or desire to be married, they need to hear this message. I'm going to talk to you about the foundation. Thank you, Delisha. And I believe, and what I not only believe, what I know to be true is when the foundation is destroyed, then you have absolutely no chance. When there is no foundation, you have absolutely no chance. And one of the reasons why so many marriages fall apart, so many relationships do not work out is because there is no foundation. They just go off on a whim, get in a relationship or get married because they love one another or lust one another. And they have some commonalities, in common, some things in common that they share. They have common interests and, even may have common friends, but they fail to do the groundwork and the growth work necessary in order to build that foundation. If you try to build a house, walls up first, roof up first, and put furniture in it, hey Wes, without the foundation, it will not stand. Hey Cassandra, how are you doing? It will not stand. Foundation. Yes, I want to talk about it. It will not stand. Hey, Nishama. So we have to know that when we're getting into relationship, and for those of us that desire to get married, and if you want to have a rock solid marriage, you need to have a rock solid foundation. You need to know who you are and whose you are before you even decide to join forces with somebody for the rest of your life. You guys have heard me said before that parents, siblings, children, uncles, aunts, nieces, and all that, those relationships are assigned to you. The person that you decide to marry is a relationship that you chose for yourself. Yes, God can reveal the person, you have those that are believers, have the Holy Spirit, and you have the spirit of discernment and all that great stuff. But ultimately, it is your choice. Ultimately, it is your choice. It's your decision to join forces with that person for the rest of your life. That's why it gets me when people have, marital issues or problems and things of that nature. And then they automatically, the first thing they think about, oh, we need to separate, or oh, we need to divorce, or we have irreconcilable differences. You're going to have issues and problems that come up in a marriage. I don't care how perfect you feel that you are. I don't care how much growth work and self-development that you have done for yourself. Although that's very important, you're still going to have things that come up in the marriage. My husband and I were just talking about this the other day. You have two people that are coming together to become one. They're always in the position where they're becoming one, trying to, think the same and do the same and making sure that they're on common grounds and work and operating on a common field, and they have the same agenda. You know how hard that is to do every single day? That is extremely difficult to do every single day because we are a flesh being. You're a human. You have the human side of you. So your human side of you is going to want to operate in the flesh, regardless of how spiritual you are. Regardless of how many times you go to church and how many times you pray, you still have a human side of you. And that's why it's so important that every single day that we deny our flesh. Every single day we have to pick up our cross, deny ourselves, and follow after Jesus, because that human side is going to want to rise up. And when you have a rock solid foundation in your marriage, when you've built that foundation, when you have something to stand on in your marriage, then when those problems and those issues and those things come up, it's not going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? It won't break the marriage. Will it cause a little friction? Yes. Will it cause a little frustration? Absolutely, yes. Will it cause maybe just a little bit of communication problems and confusion? Yes. But ultimately, it will not destroy your marriage. Marriages are destroyed because they have no foundation. They have no foundation. And before I go on any further, for those that are new, that are coming on, have never been on, for those that are coming back for the replay, I'm Treal Ravenel, and I am one of the founders of Detour Movement. And I am extremely passionate about helping women, in particular wives, to be reconciled back to Christ and reconciled and restored back to the heart of their husbands. That's my passion. And within that, and within Detour Movement, I help women to renew their minds so that they can transform their life and their marriage. That's the train in the background. Don't be scared. Renew their minds so that they can transform their life and transform their marriage. Because I believe what 1 Peter 3 tells me. It tells me that your husbands are not going to be won over by your character and your conduct. Are not going to be won over by your conversation and your discussions, but by your character and your conduct. And I truly believe that. So when the foundation is there, when the foundation is built, when the foundation is strong, then nothing can shake you. So I want to just talk about 4 different areas of foundation that you need to work on as an individual and collectively. So when and if you do get married, or even if you're in a relationship, these things are still important. These things should still be rock solid for you. The first thing is God. The first thing is God. You have to have a foundation with God. He has to be the head of your life. I know people do marriage and life without him. I get it. But for my ministry, for my walk, my talk, what comes out of my mouth, my purpose and my assignment is to reconcile you back to Christ and to restore and reconcile you back to the heart of your husband. So you have to have that relationship with God. It can't be no play thing. It can't be I just go to church. It can't be, it can't be any of that, the things that you may have been doing in the past just to say that you know who he is. But you have to have a foundation with him. He has to know you. You need to know him. And the only way you're able to do that is by spending time with him every single day. Spending time with him every single day. For those that are married or in relationships, how are you getting to know your partner? How is your relationship growing with you and your partner? Because you're spending time with him or her, right? So in order for you to grow your relationship with God, you have to spend time with him. He has to be the foundation of your life. He has to be, I know people say it as a cliche, God is the head of my life. He is truly the head of my life. If he is truly the head of your life, that should be exemplified in your life, and that should be exemplified in your relationship and your marriage. Am I right or am I right? Thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate it. Number 2, you have to have a relationship with yourself. This is foundational work. You have to know who you are and whose you are, and not desiring to get into a marriage because you're looking for someone to complete you. You are desiring for someone to make you whole. You are desiring for someone to make you feel good. Can I share something with you? I don't care how perfect your potential spouse is or partner is. That person is incapable of, does not have the capacity to make you feel whole, to make you feel complete, to heal your wounds and to restore you and to redeem you and just to cover you. They don't have that capacity to do that. You're putting too much pressure and you're putting too much weight on that person and making them feel like and think that and have the belief that they are your savior. The only person that's your savior is God himself. Not your husband, not your wife. Hey, Joy, God himself is your Lord, is your savior. He's the only one that can redeem you. He's the only one that can restore you. He's the only one that can heal you. Now, granted, I do believe that your husband should be confident enough, and I'm talking to my wives, should be confident enough and should be competent enough to be able to pray for you, cover you in prayer, to be able to protect you, to be able to provide for you. And he himself should have a solid rock foundation with God in himself so he can be able to do that for you. But he is not your deliverer. He is not your restorer. He is not your knight in shining armor. He is your husband. He is your helpmeet. He is somebody that you are doing life with. That's it. That's it. Number 3, you have to have core values. What do you believe? What do you stand on? What is your standard as a woman of God? Because you attracting, for my single woman, you attracting a potential husband is going, and the husband that you need for your life, for your children, for your future, where you're going, is going to be dependent on your core values that you have already established for yourself. All too often, women get these crazy, stupid, ridiculous, retarded relationships because either they have no core values or they are not implementing the ones that they say that they have. So they don't have the core values, or they're not implementing the ones that they have, or they may not even have identified what core values are or the importance of them to your life. Think about the relationships that you've been in the past. I can think about the ones that I've been in. Oh my God. I can think about the ones that I've been in. Horrible relationships. And not always horrible, like the person was abusive or something like that, but just relationships where I allow myself to be used, allow myself to be mistreated, and one in particular, and to be abused because I had no core values. I didn't know who I was. And it's important for you to understand whose you are before you decide to make a decision to connect with somebody for the rest of your life. So many people get married. Come on, Wes. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and unfortunately, it's an unfortunate thing. Her and her husband are going through a divorce after 10 years. Granted, they got married at the age of 21, 22, which I thought was very young. I know people do it all the time, but for their particular situation, I felt like it should not have been done. But that's not neither here nor there. But now, 10 years later, she is finding out and discovering who she is. How many can attest to that? 10 years later, because all before, they're young, they're having fun and, just doing life, and they're married, young married couple. But now here you are 10 years later, and you're looking around your life and saying, hold up, this is not who I am. I don't even like that. I don't even like that type of food. Why have I been eating that all the time? I don't even like doing those type of events. I don't even like you. Come on. You know what I'm saying? You discover that 10 years later, you got 10 years in. And with some people, fortunately, they don't have any children, that have to deal with that. But, unfortunately, people have children and things that are involved in these situations. And you have spent 10, 15, and some people 20 years with a person and just living, okay, I'm here, I'm your wife, I'm the mom, you're the kid's mother. And then you find out that that's not what you wanted all that time. And now you've wasted his time. You wasted your time. The children, some beautiful children may have come out of the union, but now they're going to be affected. Now their relationships are going to be affected. I know another young lady, and I don't condone divorce, you guys. I don't. I love marriage. Again, my mission is to reconcile women back to Christ and reconcile and restore them back to the hearts of their husbands. I don't condone divorce at all. But in some instances, if you're constantly living in a toxic and an unhealthy relationship or marriage, you need to get out of Dodge. You need to get out of Dodge. Rather in a marriage, if it's a temporary get out of Dodge, for you guys to get yourself together, or a permanent get out of Dodge. But you need to get out of Dodge. I don't believe for the life of me that God has called you to stay in something that's toxic and that's poison for your life, that's constantly killing you for your life. I'm not talking about, I don't like him, when he wake up late. I'm not talking about those type of situations. When you're being abused, when you're being misused, when there's infidelity taking place in the marriage, and it's a constant thing. It's not like a one-time thing and, he got over it and he dealt with it and you dealt with it and y'all dealt with it and now you're over it. No, this is when you have a constant thing going on, then somebody needs to get out of Dodge. And I've spoken to a young lady that I know, and I'm like, look, you need to start living for yourself because now your children are being affected. You have teenagers and almost young adults that are being affected that do not like, the idea of marriage or relationships. They don't even know what a healthy relationship is. They despise even getting connected with the opposite sex and things of that nature because what they have seen in your marriage. And that's not fear. That's not fear. That's not fear for the children. That's not fear to you as an individual. So understand your core values. So we said God, right? Your God, that's your foundation. First foundation building, then build a foundation with yourself, then build foundations surrounding your core values. Your core values. And that is extremely important. Extremely important, because all of those things, this even before you get to the husband, all of these things are going to set the stage. They're going to set the tone. They're going to be the building blocks to you building a lasting, a healthy, a happy, a successful, a sustainable marriage. If you don't have those things, you can forget it. You can forget it. You don't even need to go to the next level of being married. It's not even worth it. And then the fourth thing, you need boundaries. You need to build a foundation as it relates to boundaries. Boundaries surrounding your attitude, boundaries surrounding your mood, boundaries even surrounding when you do get into the relationship, or if you are in a relationship or the marriage, as it relates to how you guys are going to agree to disagree. You know, what's on the table and what's off the table. Because I know when I first got married, I had a mouth problem. I'm going to tell you what I mean, and I mean what I say. I'm going to tell you what I mean, and I mean what I say. And that was only 4 years ago. But I've always been a person to tell you what I mean and mean what I say. But that was not flying. Hello, somebody. That was not flying. So I had to learn how to have boundaries in my marriage. Boundaries when I wanted to say something, when I wanted to, disagree, when I wanted to go against the grain. I had to establish those boundaries. And all of these things, God, my foundation with myself, understanding who I am, my core values, and my boundaries, all of these things has added value to my marriage. So when you want to talk about marriage and relationships, let's just go back to the basics. Let's go back to the beginning. Like the book of Genesis, sometimes we just have to go back to the beginning. And if you're in a situation right now and you're looking at your marriage and your marriage is not healthy, if you've been going through things time after time, year after year, go back to the basics. Look and see what's missing. What part of the puzzle is missing here? What piece of the puzzle is missing here? What am I missing? What am I missing, God? Is it you that I'm missing? Did I fail to understand and identify with myself? Did I fail to establish core values for my own life and now I have none in my marriage? Did I fail to identify and understand the importance of boundaries in my own life and now I'm married and I don't have none? What is the missing piece here? It's so very important for you all to understand what is the missing piece and be able to go and find that missing piece. So then you can bring it and implement it into your marriage. And it's going to take time. This is not an overnight process. This is not a 1, 2, 3 step. You're done. This is not any of that. It's going to take time because you have to understand you are how old? 20, 30, 40, whatever years old. You've been operating and doing life as you have been for so very long. And these things have not been a integral part of your life for so very long. So it's so very hard for you to then one day wake up and say, oh, I need all these things. So it's going to be a process, a continued process. You've been married for however long and you all have been operating in your marriage, however you have been for however long. So it's going to take time to identify these things. What are these things for you? And then it's going to take time for you to implement these things into your marriage covenant. Okay? So I want to spend a few moments because I got to get out here in just a few here. I want to spend a few moments just answering any questions that you may have concerning boundaries, concerning values, concerning your relationship and foundation with yourself and God, or marriage in general. Whatever you want to ask, I'll spend the next 4 minutes on here to answer those because I got to get out of here so I can head down to my photo shoot location. I appreciate the hearts. Thank you. And I pray that something you got out, if you have not shared, please share. And I pray that something that I said, you got something out of this message on today, that you're able to implement it. If you're single, you can implement that. These things are all about you. These things are all about you. Because the better you are, the better your marriage will be. The better you become, the better your marriage will become. Can anybody attest to that? I can. Hey, Top Secret Tea. Bless the Lord. Thank you, Tracy. You're welcome. I appreciate you. The better you are, the better your marriage will be. The better you become, the better your marriage will become. It's a process, but you have to be willing to do the work. So many want the results, but they don't want to do the work. You got to do the work. Anything you do, anything in your life you want to be successful, you have to do the work. We just came out of the goal setting, the goal achievement workshop, which was absolutely amazing. For those that missed it, I'm so sorry. It's available for replay, but I think it's now $79 where you could have gotten it at $29. And oh my God. And I talk about often having goals for your marriage. That's important. You need to know where you're going. Why are you married? Why did you marry this person? I know exactly why I married my husband. I know exactly where we're going, and I know exactly what it's going to take to get there. Now it only takes us implementing, right? It was purposeful. I married him on purpose. On purpose, as he did me. And that's how you should make every decision for your life. On purpose. How is this going to benefit me? When I was deciding to marry my husband, yes, I said, how is he going to benefit my life? How is he going to benefit my future? As he did as well. And I think that's absolutely okay. Because we're not just coming together to hang out for the rest of our lives. We got things that we need to accomplish. And you need to see, okay, if this person is even capable and fit to help you accomplish those things, and vice versa. Will he help with the vision that God has already given you, and vice versa? It's not play. This is, it's more than you getting his last name. It's more than you wearing your ring. It's more than the wedding ceremony. It's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger. And so many people miss the bigger picture. It's so much bigger than that. So if anyone does not have any questions, please go ahead and share, because if anyone comes on, they can always come back later and listen to the replay. I believe it'll bless them tremendously, regardless of what relationship status that they're in right now. It will definitely bless them. It'll be a tool that they can have in their toolbox to be able to use at a later time. You need tools for every area of your life. You need to have tools, because tools will help you build the foundation. Tools will help you maintain the foundation, because even after a certain amount of time, you have to maintain the foundation. You have to maintain that which you built. Am I right? Even a house. At some point, you have to start making renovations to the home. Even a car, you have to go and get your monthly check monthly maintenance and things of that nature. Even with your body, we have to go our annual checkups. We have to go for other routine visits and things of that nature. Am I talking right? Our dental visits, we have to go twice a year for that. We have to check up. So we have to check in. For my scope, my husband and I did a few Saturdays ago, we were talking about faith over feelings. You have to check in and see what's going on. If you're single, you have to check in and see what's going on. Why am I attracting these type of men? Why am I, why do I still have this attitude? Why do I still seem bitter and I still seem unhappy? Why can't I attract a man? I hear women all the time, oh my God, I can't attract a man, and where I go, I don't find any good man. Well, are you a good woman? You attract what you are. Are you a good woman? I'm not talking about you knowing how to cook and clean. We all can do that. That's a learned skill. That's a learned thing. We all can do that. I'm not this so beyond that. What do you possess? What is your most valuable treasure? What are your core values? What is your relationship with God? Who are you? What are your boundaries? What are your standards? So if things are not going right in your relationship, in your marriage, you need to go back to the basics. You need to start uncovering some stuff. You need to begin to identify some stuff and see why. There's always a why. There's always a root cause. And you can even do a root cause analysis. Okay, the problem is my marriage is broken. I'm unhappy. Why is your marriage broken? Why are you unhappy? Because we can't seem to get along. Why can't you seem to get along? Because every time I say something, my husband gets offended, or vice versa. Why does every time you say something, your husband gets offended or whatever? Because, when we first got married, I used to disrespect him, or he used to disrespect me, or we were not at a good place. We were not, mature, or we didn't do the self-work. So now we're getting to the root cause. Does that make sense? Now we're getting to the root cause, because there's always a reason for it. We tend to focus on the reason. We tend to focus on the outcome of what's going on right now. Everyone born will not be mother, father, husband, wife, but sing. Absolutely. Yes. Look at Paul. Faith, study the life of Paul. Paul was single. And he said that to be single, when you're single, you can serve God. You can play full out and serve God. No limits, no boundaries. And you're only concerned about the things of God. But when you're married, you have to be concerned about the things with your spouse. And sometimes that gets hard. Sometimes you want to be selfish. Sometimes you can't go off and pray and do mission work. And I want to do mission work and I want to do other things. But sometimes that's not realistic once you get into a marriage, because you have to make sure that your husband or wife is in line with those things. And you have to respect their decision as well. You have to consider them. Everything you do, you have to consider them. And I always tell my wives and my woman, not my woman, but women in general, be okay with being single, because when you get in a relationship, you have to consider the person every single time. Hey, Vanessa, every single time you make a decision, you have to consider the person. Me making a decision to have my photo shoot today is my photo shoot, has nothing to do with my husband. It's all about me. But I had to make sure, okay, honey, this is what I'm doing on Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be single. Take your time. If it's a desire, I believe you should fulfill that desire. But in the meantime and in the between time, work on you. Hey, Vanessa, work on you as much as you can. Work on you. Get to know who you are, so that when you do step out and am ready to be in that relationship, when I was saying about that, you can attract the right person. Not so much a perfect person, but the right person for you. The person that's going to add value to your life. The person that's going to add substance to your life. My husband adds value to my life. He adds substance to my life. He brings something that I don't have, and vice versa. Where he's weak, I am strong, and vice versa. You understand me? But we have a foundation in place. Our God foundation. We have our core values for our marriage. We know who we are as individuals, and we have boundaries. And those things are important. So you all, I'm going to head off. For those that just came on, Vanessa, you all, please go ahead and share the scope, because I believe somebody needs to be blessed by it. If they hear it, I'm going to get off, but they can hear back something in my eye. You guys, if I'm blinking like this. So share it as much as you need to on all your social media platforms, if you don't mind, because somebody needs to hear this. Somebody's looking for a husband, or they're wondering why their marriage is still in the state it's been in for the last 5, 10, 15 years. And they need to go back to the basics. They need to go back to the basics. And we've shared that on today. So I'll be on next Wednesday, because I do my wives who win. Thank you, Ternay. I appreciate it. Every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. And then my wife chat. Thank you, cuz. I appreciate you. You're welcome. My wife chat every Saturday at 12 noon. So make sure you're following me so you can get the notifications on when I come on. Thank you, Nashama. Love you, sweetheart. I would appreciate it so very much. And you can check out my Wives Who Win page on Facebook. Is Wives Who Win, the only one, so they'll pull right up. It's a pink picture on the page, and also on my personal page, Treal Ravenel. I love to connect with you. I love to share with you as much as I can and pour out as much as I can, and just look out for the upcoming things that we have going on within Wives Who Win and also in Detour Movement. So until next time, love you all. You have a great and blessed Saturday. Stay warm. Stay inside if you can, and stay warm. Bye.